Hi everyone, how's it going? It's Jackson. Welcome back to Endeavours. So, yeah, it'll be business as usual now. I'll just be going back to doing dailies and weeklies as I did before. Sorry I was away for so long. I was away for way longer than I needed to be. Real life stuff came first. I got TAFE done, so I got a certificate 4 in IT. Hopefully I can make a career out of that, so don't worry, it was well worth the wait. Other than that, I got that done last week. But a heap of fucking shit came up that I just had to do first. Like, I lost internet and just fucking had some shit I had to do, like, get out of the house for a while. So, yeah, that got in the way too. But I'm back. It'll be back to normal now. So, yeah. There's some things I want to go through first before I get into Endeavours. Timecodes will be in the description if you want to skip through this stuff. You know how it is. I just want to cover just some, like, stuff that changed while I was away. So, firstly, the store. There's new gambling crates that have come out. It's called Moons Over Orsinium. It's it's just a new Orsinium based thing with like some mounts that have some sort of orc style metal, which is kind of cool. There's a motif that I want to just quickly make a note on. I would not buy this. It is cool. Like, it's not about how shitty it looks. It actually looks kind of cool. But the issue is, this is so cheap on guild stores, just buy it from there. In my opinion, you should not be paying $3,600 for this. Like, the most expensive motif is like 10 grand, 10k gold, which is the chest. Everything else is like even way cheaper than that. So, yeah, don't get this. In my opinion, it's not worth it. Not worth the money. There's a few mounts, some costumes, just like, emotes and shit like that. It's just like the generic shit you'll find with these things. There's 3 skins. There's one in Apex, Legendary, and Epic. So, yeah. Also, in the daily rewards at the same time, you've got 8,000 seals of Endeavour for the first day. In my opinion, that's like the only thing you should really log on for. Everything else here is just like generic shit, which is kind of disappointing for Christmas, but yeah, whatever. Alright, so the other thing is the class identity refresh. Now, I've been playing this game for a long time, and a lot of the stuff that they do for this, it just feels like it's not going to be that impressive. I could be completely wrong. I hope I am. But they do this a lot. They do a lot of fucking talk, and then the thing that they end up doing is just like nowhere near as impressive as what they fucking talk about. So, yeah, I have no hopes for this. I'm sorry to say. I've had no real hopes for this game for a long time. That's not to say I don't like this game. I love this game. I've been playing it for 10 years. I still play it. But I don't expect this to go anywhere, because this game really hasn't innovated in a god-awful time. And let's be real, the way Microsoft has treated their gaming companies, I don't expect there to be a big development team working on this anymore, especially like with the layoffs. At the same time, I suppose they got rid of a lot of them were working on the MMO that got cancelled, so maybe some of them got brought over. But look, in my opinion, just don't even I don't even think we should worry about that identity refresh thing. Just wait for the Dragonite changes to come out in PTS. Let's see how that goes, because there is one thing I'll note. Hyperioxes has a video. I'll link it in the description. He found some changes to the client language. I think it's in German. I don't know for sure, but it actually has some of the changes to Dragonite. It came out a few days ago, so maybe it's related to the class identity refresh. It might not, but I would advise just having a look at that video. I'll make sure it's in the description. Because, yeah, there are some changes that they're going through for Dragonites in that. Some things are staying the same, like Lava Whip isn't different in that video. Neither is standard. But to be honest with you, I really don't think those skills need to be changed. I think it's the other ones. So yeah, maybe that might be interesting to watch, but I'm not sure. The biggest problem I have with the class identity refresh is they're doing it class by class. And just based on how long it's taken content to release recently, how long is that going to take? Necromancers are 6th. Necromancers, in my opinion, are in the worst state of any class by a long shot. And is it going to take years to see any class changes for them. If that's the case, that is just... Is anyone going to even be playing by that point? I know that's such a doomer thing to say, but like, fucking hell. This game really hasn't innovated in a very long time. I don't think. That's another thing I want to talk about, right? I'm not going anywhere for this game. Like, I'll keep doing my dailies and my weeklies, but at this point, I feel like I'm on a fucking sinking ship. Like, I don't want to keep doing this game on its own. Because, yeah, like I said, nothing's really changed in years. So, what I'm going to do is... I did, like, a couple of long videos on the weekend, but I stopped doing them just because I had too much going on. I'm going to keep doing those now that I've got some free time. So, yeah, but the thing is, I don't just want to do ESO on those videos. I want to do something else. Another game, maybe. And I do want to start live streaming if I can get, like, a time where other people will be on. But for the first little while, what I'll do is I'll just do videos, like long, basically VOD, or video on demand, or just regular videos. And like maybe like I don't know, just to get people into like to show people when I will be like having videos, like starting streams or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I do want to do stuff. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere, but it might just be different games. The only thing is, there's not like any games that I play or have anywhere near as much experience with as I have with ESO. I've got 13,000 hours in this game. I think the next highest is like, I got like 6,000 maybe in Ark Survival Evolved, but I don't know if that's a very good game to watch. I feel like I'd rather play Ascended, and I could barely fucking record that game. So what I might do is just in the comments, I'll just chuck a comment in saying like all the games that I do play. If there's anybody that is like interested in seeing any gameplay of like one game, let me know. Like probably Don't Starve or Stellaris maybe, or maybe Ark. I don't know how Ark would go, but because that game needs a lot of resources just to record. But we'll see. So, alright, so Endeavours now. In my opinion, these three options here are good. This one here is good too. But the only issue is that you need the Thieves Guild DLC. You have to have that DLC, and it requires you to do the main quest line in Hughes Bane a bit to get access to it. If you haven't done that yet, I wouldn't personally bother. Durables Master It is very quick, but it's also usually quite expensive if you don't have the materials on hand. If you do, it's pretty quick, but yeah, can be very expensive. So my advice would just be to do these three. And the order that I would do them in is I'd go Vampires, then Furnishings... Oh, sorry. So either Vampires and Heist, and then Furnishings, and then Tel Var. Because you can travel to your house whenever you're ready, outside of Cyrodiil, and then you can travel to Cyrodiil in basically anywhere outside of Cyrodiil itself. So, yeah. So you do your Heist and or Vampires, and then travel to Conservatory Furnishings in your house, and then Tel Var. Just, it makes it more convenient, trust me. Alright, so let's start this off with what I think is going to be the most simple one. So I've got Conservatory Furnishings. First thing you need to do is get yourself a house if you don't have one yet. I'll just go through that, and I'll also just run through what I think is the only real Conservatory Furnishings you want to look at, because you can actually just buy these from merchants, like whenever you're ready. You can buy them from guild stores, but the ones here are super cheap. And guild stores, you can't rely on them. It's not like you're always going to find the same item in the same spot. So you usually have to run around a bit to find those. Whereas this place is right next to a way shrine that you start with by default. And the item is always there for 100 gold. Like, I really don't think you should bother like making it more complicated than that. Alright, so you want to go to Daggerfall here in Glenumbra. This way shrine's unlocked by default. So as I said, you can travel here whenever you're ready on any character. As soon as you create a character, this way shrine's unlocked. So just head in here, and on your right there'll be a NPC here, Rosica. You open this menu up, and she's got a bunch of Conservatory Furnishings. So the only thing you really want to be careful with here is some of these furnishings are quite large. So if you get the free house, you probably can't fit these in there. The one I would personally go for is probably this shrub, or maybe one of these, yeah, something like these smaller ones, because they will definitely fit in there. Whereas if you get something like one of these giant fucking boulders, yeah, good luck. So yeah, that's where I'd get your furnishing. And if you need 100 gold Firstly, if you don't have the free house yet, you get a bit of gold from that. But also, I implore you to look in the description for one of the tutorial videos I've got down there, like a link for one of those videos. That just goes through how to get some gold very quickly, very easy. Basically, all you have to do is be able to move and press the E key and look around. That's basically all the prerequisites. So yeah, that one's pretty good. I advise you look at it if you don't know how to get some gold easily for basic stuff like this. So this here is the NPC that gives you a house for free. You'll see her, yeah, just over the other side. You can find her in other places. If you've already got a conservatory furnishing, there is another place here that you can find her, just next to this wayshrine. Again, you've unlocked it by default. But just because both things are here, I usually just recommend coming here instead. So all you have to do is just start a conversation, just keep going through the dialogue, and eventually you'll get this part here. You complete the quest. You'll get a house here that shows up unless you've already got all three. That's the case for me, so it doesn't show up here. But there should be a house that shows up here if you don't have it yet. You also, as you can see here, get a bit of gold. This is more than the gold you need to buy the furnishing. So if you're like above level 10, you probably have enough for it. It's just only if you're like level 3 that you probably won't get enough gold for it. But yeah, again, just watch that tutorial video if you need. So yeah, just complete that quest and that's it. Now, when you need to find your house, just go to the map, go to the houses tab up here, and all the ones you've collected will be here. So you'll either have Rosy Lion, Ebony Flask, or you'll have Mara's Kiss. Just depends on which alliance you do this on. I'd advise doing it on all three and getting all three of these houses, because they're all quite beneficial in their own ways. So when you're ready, you just left click on one of these, left click again, travel inside, and that'll be the way to get there. Now the only thing else is, I know I'm talking about this first, but what I would advise you do is do your vampires, and then do Conservatory Furnishings, and then go to Imperial City, if you want to do this one. Or, if you're going to do one of these other options, do these first, and then do this last, because you can travel outside of Cyrodiil and Imperial City, you can travel to your house from anywhere for free. It's like a free wayshrine into your house, but not out. So it's a bit more of a pain in the ass getting back out most of the time. So I advise doing this last, just so you can conveniently do the other shit first and then do this. But yeah, this is definitely the most simple and most relaxed. If you want to set it up as well, I've got an add-on that I use for basically setting a hotkey to go home. It's called the Go Home add-on, and you can just set hotkeys in the add-ons. Oh, sorry, not add-ons. Controls. Add-on controls, and then down here to Go Home. So I've just set a bunch of hotkeys to this. So what I usually do is I just head straight to my home using that. I don't know if this is on console, but yeah, it's a pretty standard add-on to have on keyboard and mouse, or on PC, I guess. Okay, so when you get to your house, I'm just going to use one of these here. Like, most houses bigger than like the apartment complexes you can get for free, they will probably have conservatory furnishings. I think this is the most common furnishing type to have. So yeah, if you've got a big house already, you can probably just go to your house straight away and get one of these. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick this up and show you what usually happens when it's in your inventory if you've just bought an item. So just go, you'll go to the housing menu, go into browse, and then you'll be in the place menu. That's where you want to go. So conservatory furnishing here, you just grab one of these, and all you got to do is place it on the floor. Now, if you just left click spam now and pick it up and put it down, nothing happens. It has to come from your inventory. So what I advise you do is now, at the bottom left, you'll see it says undo. Hit that instead and hit redo, and that actually works instead. That's the most simple way to just place spam it. It's great if you get the weekly endeavor where it's like place 30 furnishings, because you can just spam Z and Y over and over, and it just does it in like a minute. That's really good. Yeah, here it's just, you can either do that, or if it's already on the floor, which is usually going to be the case, you can just pick it up, put it away with the R key, and then undo, redo, undo, and that will literally do the exact same thing. So that's what I recommend you do. Okay, next up, vampires. There's a few places I suggest using for this, but also understand that it's not just vampires you can use. There's certain enemy types that are very common in specific places that I think are even better than actual vampires, which I'm going to cover first. But I'm going to go through the three sort of main locations that you find all your vampires. So the one I recommend the most is Spellscar. This is a great place for a bunch of different stuff, but vampires is also included. So this is in Craglorn. So these spell fiends here, They are basically blood fiends, but they've just had their name and like colors changed. Essentially, they're the same, like basically enemy type. So grab a bunch of these. There's usually a big group of about 7 or 8 at one of these big glowing, like sort of pylons or pillars, and they count as vampires. So there are, as you can see, a lot of these things just all over the place. So all you have to do is just find one of these, kill one of the groups of spell fiends around them, and that's it. And the thing is, you can see like very like small specks of like dots down here. That's probably some of the places that some of these pillars are found. So there's all the pillars here, there's pillars around this side, and there's pillars over here. There's probably at least 20 or 30 of these locations full of these things. So there's fucking heaps of these guys here. And if that's not enough, there's also the smaller groups of spell fiends in the groups of the air and the elemental atronachs that also will count for this. And then, even if that's not enough, there are also shit tons of spell fiends around Earthtear, especially around like the river. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in Craiglawn you can use for this. So if you haven't been here before, you want to use home tours to travel here, because this wayshrine in Belkarth, if you enter the zone, this one comes unlocked, but naturally none of the wayshrines are unlocked for you by default. So if you haven't been here before, you won't have anything here. So my recommendation is use home tours. There's another video in the like tutorial section in the description if you want to know how home tours works. It's basically, again, it's another free wayshrine essentially, where you can just travel to places where you haven't normally got access to. It's really helpful. The houses you want to look at are Hackfield's High Hall, or Earthtear Private Arena down here. It doesn't show up here, but there's actually another house here. You just look up under E. You can also use the other ones, Domus Frascus and Earthtear Cavern. If you enter out here, you will still unlock the wayshrine over at Belkarth, so that's still something you can use too. And yeah, just from here, you go up here, or from Hackfields, you just travel west, get this wayshrine, and then you've got easy access to Spellscar from that point. And it is going to be really helpful in the long run, because Flame Atronachs, Storm Atronachs, Air Atronachs, Frost Atronachs, they're all here in big quantities. This is the place I usually go to for any of those. Maybe Fire Atronachs, not so much. I usually go like a dungeon for that, but they're still like the best choice for, or like really good choices for everything there. Alright, let's go through the other vampire options, which are still good. I just find them to be, for how many vampires there are in the locations, it's just usually busy. Like, don't get me wrong, Craiglawn's busy, but there's like 100 different fucking spots for it. Whereas these places here, there's only like a few. Alright, Rivenspire. This place is full of these things. So firstly, Moira's Hope. Blood fiends, like this one here. And it also has proper Montclair vampires. Usually they're chilling around at the back of these areas here. Yeah, there's some there. Look here, you can actually see that they are vampires. So you can see they've got red eyes. This one here as well. So these are actually vampires as well, and they count for the Endeavour. So this is Moira's Hope. It's on the sort of... It's near the entrance to when you get into Rivenspire, if you go through via the quest line. But if you want to get here easily, Wraithholme and Ravenhurst are two houses through home tours you can use to get here. Wraithholme gets you very, very close to Moira's Hope. So usually I just get this wayshrine or this one, and then I use that path to travel straight to Moira's Hope. Otherwise... once you get here from one of these houses, you can also travel over here and travel over to Cant Tenrith. Over here in this spot, there's about 10 like Montclair vampires, like the proper NPC ones. This is very hit and miss. It's like the least used place, I find. But the problem is, if one person comes through here and kills everything, you're kind of waiting, because there's like no other vampires other than that. You've also got Crestshade, but it's full of blood fiends, but this is like the most used location. Like, I find so many people coming through here and killing the blood fiends. I would suggest Spellscar or Moira's Hope over that. I usually don't find these places as busy. The other good location is Cold Harbour, which is a bit more up in the air, because you have to do the main quest line in order to get here, but you can also use home tours to get to these locations. The only problem is you have to complete the quest line in Cold Harbour in order to get access to the northern side, where you get access to the Orchid, which is probably one of the other best locations for vampires. But just like with Rivenspire, you've got blood fiends, and you've also got regular vampires like this guy. So if you end up completing the quest in the Orchid, if you choose to help the vampires, they will become docile, which I think is helpful because there are harvesters in certain locations, and the harvesters also become docile when you complete this quest. So having the harvesters as docile means that you don't have to deal with them, because these guys don't count as vampires, and they're a bit of a pain in the ass to deal with if you try and fight them. Because yeah, they can they create orbs that heal themselves and shit like that. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, there's lots of vampires here, as you can see. So this is another location. I also find this to be quite busy though, usually, but right now it seems pretty quiet. If you haven't been to Cold Harbor before, sorry, the only way you can get here outside of doing the quest in Cold Harbor is if you get someone to travel to this wayshrine and then travel to them. Now I've heard sometimes it doesn't let you travel here, but I tried this on some characters that have literally done nothing in Cold Harbor, and they were able to travel there, so I'm not sure. Just test it out. If that doesn't work, ask them to go to the delve here or here, and you can travel into the delve still, apparently, even if that doesn't work. But yeah, you should just be able to travel straight here. Alright, let me show you the other option for vampires in Cold Harbor, which you can access regardless of what quest you've done. It's the Black Forge over here. So, to actually get into the Black Forge, you can't just go up those stairs. It's locked or something. Oops, I fucked that up. You have to go through this bit of ground above the lava. And this is the door to get inside. Okay, here's the vampires, a couple there. I find this place to... Oh, that's... Yeah, just as I say, that's someone there. But I find this to usually be the least visited area as far as vampires go. Usually the only people coming through here are doing the quests, and they're not actively trying to kill every vampire. You do have to kill some to get the quest done, but you only need to kill 3, I believe. And there's 30 in here, so you usually got plenty of options. So yeah, that's in the eastern side of Cold Harbor. So again, Cold Harbor surreal estate to get here, and then you just travel east over here. But yeah, I'd just stick with Spell Fiends and Spellscar. It's usually the most chill option. Alright, next up is Tel Var Stones. This one, we're going to Imperial City. I find the better option is no champion points, just because usually there's less people there. But either of these options, usually it's not that busy in Imperial City. It depends on the time of day. Just check these populations, because if there's other people, it can get in the way a bit, because players from other factions, this is a PvP zone, so people can attack you. But in order to get to Tel Var, you need to kill Daedra. There are other ways, though, that you can cheese it a little bit, but the basic synopsis is most of the time it's just kill Daedra. That's the way. Okay, so the very first thing you want to look at, if you've got two things. If you've either got something called a light Tel Var satchel, which you get from completing the daily quests in Imperial City, they have 200 Tel Var in them. Or if you have Pelennor boon boxes or the Zenithar event boxes, they can have Tel Var Stones in them too. And these actually work for the Endeavor. So if you have a bunch of those lying around, you don't even have to be in Imperial City. You just open them up outside, and that's one of the ways to complete this Endeavor. Unfortunately, for some strange reason, the Tel Var daily rewards don't work, even though you wouldn't be able to get them anyway. But these don't work. It's very confusing. But yeah, I've tested these before for the weekly, and yeah, it's a bit weird. But yeah, you can use these ones for it. So, if you don't have any Tel Var stones, satchels with Tel Var in them, the only other option is to kill Daedra. And there are ways, you can do it two ways. One of the ways is just to jump down into the districts and just start killing shit. But if you have a ranged build, there is something else you can use. So what I advise you do, you want to be very careful using this method, because if you die, you lose half of the Tel Var in your inventory, and you don't want that happening. Tel Var is quite valuable. But what you can do is go to the bank. If you have any Tel Var in your bank, so we go 4, 7. Is that enough? Yeah, I know my basic math. Okay, so with Tel Var, if you hold on to some, it increases this multiplier down here. So we're actually getting quadruple the amount of Tel Var we naturally get. The only problem is if we die right now, or if I die right now, I lose half of it, which is brutal. That being said, there is a way to just like not get into a situation where that will happen. Like, it's very, very difficult to actually have that get you killed. So what we want to do is come into the what I call the ladder room. It's just one of the rooms in the safe areas with no icons in it, outside of like the quest icons. There'll be 6 ladders here, and you can travel up to these ladders. And what it does is it puts you in a safe area. Well, I say safe, you can get attacked up there, but it separates you from everything on the ground. So if I just go around here, go down into stealth, and enemies down, like players down here, you can get attacked by like range attacks, but you can't get pulled down, so they can't like pull you into their melee range and absolutely obliterate you with stuff. That being said, you do still want to be careful of gankers with like bows, because they can still do a shit ton of damage. But what you can basically do from here is use ranged attacks to kill some enemies down there, and these guys here will like drop some Tel Var for you. So I can just get like a basic attack. See if I can reach them from here. There we go. So I got 16 from him. So basically you just kill all the enemies down here, repeat that process, run around, and eventually you'll get your Tel Var. So that was... yeah, you need to do that, kill like 10 enemies like that if you have that much Tel Var. If there are bigger enemies, like I'm trying to see if there's one. If you see like the Zivkin, it's like the big humanoid Daedra, they count as tier 1 enemies. That one there, you can see that one casting some stuff over there. That Bone Colossus also counts as a tier 1 enemy. If you can attack them, they give you much more Tel Var, but they just take longer to kill. That Zivkin over there as well is one of them. Just seeing if there's any others. Might have already been killed. That, or you can just go into the Aldmeri Dominion, or like the back to the ladder room down here, and you can just go to a different area or different district. You can also do this if you see players there and you don't want to deal with that shit. If you think they're going to attack you with a ranged attack, you can do that. So obviously you don't have to do this. It will only take you a few minutes killing the enemies down there, but this just stops you from being killed by players that are down there. Oh yeah, perfect. So what I'll do is I'll just attack this one. See if I can kill them in time. Yeah, there we go. So 50 Tel Var from that one. So that was basically 3 of those and you'll get it done. And it's the same with, yeah, these, like you got this Frost Atronach over here, same thing. If I just attack this guy. Yeah, there we go. And that's it. So just do that a couple of times. And the best thing is, like, you can just line of sight all the enemies using all the walls up here. Now, the other thing I should point out is probably check before you do this, these districts here, because they give you a capture bonus. So if your faction owns these districts, they will increase the amount of Tel Var you get. So if I had a character on Daggerfall Covenant, I would probably do it on them, because yeah, you literally get double if all 6 of them are under your control. And that's probably another thing to look for with these 2 campaigns here. Maybe go to both of them and check which districts are owned by who. And if your faction owns the districts in one of them, go to that one. But preferably I'd go no CP, just because there's less players. The less players there are, the less you'll get interrupted when you're trying to do this one. The last thing to mention, there is also chests. There are, like, you'll find just like they look like the regular chests you'll find in Overland, except they have like a little Daedric emblem in front of like the lock. But you just open them up like any other normal chest. And they give you... a single chest should give you enough Tel Var to get this done straight away. Maybe less, I'm not sure. So yeah, there are all the ways to get your Tel Var. So if you can, just use some light Tel Var satchels. You can... if you want to know how to get the satchels, these quests here, the people with the blue quest icon, these are the ones you get them from. The best one to do is the Arena District, sorry, this one here. Because... all you have to do is just basically press E on some, like, basically hostages that the Daedra have got around the place, and that's it. Or you kill the Daedra around them. Either of those ways works. This is something that I would not do with a lot of Tel Var in your inventory. Just remove it, and then even if you get killed, you can just respawn and just, like, run straight in. Or if there's a player loitering around, you can just travel to the other campaign and just do the same thing. And yeah, just find all those people. You'll get a Tel Var satchel from the rewards for that quest. And what you can do is, whenever the endeavor comes up for this, just have the satchel in your inventory later on, and you can just open it up, get it done, and you literally just, as soon as you log in, you get one of the endeavors that's usually a bit of a pain to do, and just get it done straight away. Alright, now we're looking at durables master writs. So there's 4 writs you can use that work for this. So blacksmithing, clothier, jewelry, and woodworking. These are the 4 durable or equipment writs. So the actual writs themselves will show up in the Master Writ tab in your consumable section. And when you get them through writs yourself, if you get these unknown ones, it can be very unreliable doing them, because the only one maybe is not so much is Jewelry Crafter Writ, but woodworking, blacksmithing, and clothing, they have a style that they need, and there are so many styles in this game that the odds of you having that specific style can be very low. If you're an established player, obviously it's not a big problem, but at that point, those kinds of players are probably not watching this video asking what master writs are. So yeah. The only one I would really personally bother with in any of these cases is either if you have like a style that you know, and you can just like search around, or like a bunch of styles already that you know. Yeah, you can go through. Some of these writs can be very, very cheap. Like, wow, that much for a Breton one's actually pretty good. But yeah, it's very unreliable, like being able to use this as like a cheap option, because yeah, this one goes away, which other one's going to be this cheap. But yeah, that's usually what I go for. But reliable one to get, if you can find a cheap one, is jewelry writs. The reason for this is the other 3, woodworking, blacksmithing, and clothing, they need a style and they need a style material. This one, all the jewelry ones don't, which I think is very valuable, because there are shit tons of styles in this game, and you having all of them to like guarantee that you'll be able to do those ones, not likely. Whereas this, the only things that matter is the set, which requires a specific trait amount of traits, and then the specific trait and trait item. You have to worry about these with the other ones anyway, so it's not really a big deal. The only thing is this is only available for people using Somerset. But yeah, so jewelry ones if you can, but if not, yeah, probably the best one I'd say to do is woodworking, because usually woodworking upgrade materials are cheaper. Not always though, like especially like gold quality ones. Gold quality woodworking writs are, I think, much better to do than, like, for example, the gold clothier ones. But the purple clothier and blacksmithing ones are also fun, because yeah, those are cheap as well. All right, once you've got your materials you need to make your master writ, I would advise having a guild hall on speed dial, basically, because these places, they like, normally in order to craft all these master writs, you have to go out into like a location to craft them, and some of these locations can be a pain in the ass, like especially if you're trying to craft like Armor Master, which is in Imperial City, and you have to go through this PvP zone in order to get to them. You don't have to worry about that shit if you use a guild hall like this. So what I'm going to do in the description is I'll also list the NA and EU like PC guild halls I use. I don't have any for console because I don't play console. Sorry about that. If you know any for console, yeah, chuck them in the comments if other people need them. But yeah, I haven't played console, so I wouldn't know. Yeah, these places, they usually have Grandmaster crafting stations here, and these will have all of the sets in the game. The only thing is this one here doesn't have the Season of the Wormcoat stuff. This is only on the EU side. I'm pretty sure the NA one does. But yeah, so everything else, you go to Alliance zones, DLC zones, you've got all that stuff, PvP sets as well. So yeah, you've got all the different set bonus crafting stations here in one. So you don't have to run around and like go to annoying places to find them. So yeah, this is really good. And also, it's even better because in some zones where you can't actually enter it because you don't have the DLC for it, like if you don't own that DLC, you can still craft the sets. Like for example, I don't own Fire Song, but I can still craft Claw of the Forest Wraith, just because I can go here and I have the traits for it. So I've got an add-on here that makes this easier. I'll link this in the description too. So Dogabon's Lazy Writ Creator, that's the one I use for this. But I'll also link Writworthy, which if you want to craft a bunch of master writs at once, if you want to get some writ vouchers, which is totally a good idea, because Writworthy crafts all the items for you immediately, in one go, basically. Like, you don't even have to look at the crafting section here. You just go into the menu and then just let it do its thing, and it'll do it all for you. The add-on I use to automate that stuff, it's called Dogabon's Lazy Writ Creator. This also handles the master writ stuff. Not all of it, though. I think it's only the jury ones. What I would advise you also get is something called Writworthy, which you can basically queue up a shit ton of writs to do, or master writs, sorry, and it will just get all of them done in one go, and you don't even have to like touch anything. So these two add-ons are really great. I'll make sure they're in the description for you. Okay, so now we've crafted the item, we've got to go talk to Rolla Salalu over here to hand it in. Now, if you can, get this house here. You can also get the ones in Grotwood or Stormhaven, which are next to the other ones. Rollis over here, for example. You got this house, but they are more expensive. If you want the cheapest house, this one in Deshan is right here. And it's super close to the guy. Like, it's only like a minute travel to get there. Not even. And yeah, this house is like 13 grand. The one in Grotwood, it's called Snug Pod, which is found here, is I think like 100 grand or 60 grand or something. And then the one in Wayrest is fucking expensive. It's like hundreds of thousands. So yeah, I'd advise just getting this one here. It's better. Alright, hand that one in. And that's it. Okay, heists. So these, as I said before, you need the Thieves Guild DLC to access these, and you need to complete a part of the Hughes Vein main questline. You have to get to the long game. Finish that off, you'll get a quest to find this guy here, and when you find him, you can start with heists. So that will take usually an hour or two. So if you just want to do Endeavors really quick today, this is probably not the option to go with. But yeah, once you've done all that, heists are pretty quick. It's like usually just a few minutes. Alright, so what you do is you just go to the board here. Just read this. So getting to this area here, the Thieves' Den, there's an access point in the city, but the quickest way there is usually through this option here, which is just north from the Wayshrine and Abar's Landing. That's usually the way I go, because it just leads you here, and it's just right here. So to actually access heists, you just have to go, I'm ready, take me to the heist. Now, the good thing about heists is you can completely botch this shit. You don't get a bounty, and you just get less rewards at the end, and honestly, the rewards really aren't that worth anyway. The only thing you're really doing this for is the seals. And it's 15 seals, so it's okay, but yeah, I personally don't bother with the extra doing the secondary objective, which is basically do it before the timer is up. Once you start it, at the top right, there'll be a timer. If you complete it before that timer expires, you get extra rewards. It's way easier to do the secondary objective compared to Dark Brotherhood, which I personally don't even bother with. Like, it's just way too much fucking effort when you're just trying to get 15 seals, basically. So, yeah, you basically just, once you enter a certain area or go through a door, it starts and the timer's up here. Now, if you're spotted by anybody, the timer goes down. Even if you kill them without them spotting, or like, without seeing you, you still get a bounty. It's fucking bullshit, but yeah, that's the way it is. So these hidden caches, they'll either be this, or it'll be like jewelry bags that you got to pick up. Now, I just want to show you. So this person here is, there's literally no one around them. I kill them, and as you see here, detected. Like, there is literally no one around to see me kill them. And yeah, the timer goes down. So if you kill anybody, it reduces the timer. So you're better off using cloak or invisibility to just pass everything and just rush through and get all the hidden caches and then just rush out. Even if you get spotted a couple of times by somebody, you're better off just being really quick as opposed to trying to meticulously not get spotted by anybody. That's what I think. So I'm using a vampire build here with the invisibility. I'll link the I'll link the guide to this build in the description if you want to take a look. I've gone into quite a bit of detail on it. So, yeah, the video is quite long. But this build is really, really helpful. The other video I'll start doing something for is the... where's this going? Is this anywhere important? Yeah, the cloak build. Oh, I'm back to bloody where I was. Or am I? No, I'm not. Oh yeah, these blue things here. They, for some reason, sometimes I find they just fucking obliterate me, sometimes they don't. I think if you are crouched, they explode, but if you're not, they don't. I don't know how they work exactly. Alright, this is the third one. We've got one more. Let's enter stealth again. I don't know exactly how they work, but yeah. I'm pretty sure it's actually cloak that you get spotted with. So what I'm using here is just, I'm forcing the lock. If you have the passive in Leisure Domain, the locksmith passive, do this. If you don't, it's not worth it. Just grab them naturally. It just speeds up how quickly you can do this. So yeah, we've still got 4 minutes, which is nice. Can't grab that gold, sadly, but... Alright, so I'm just going to fucking leg it for the exit. There'll be like an NPC that comes out and you might have to fight them. If you just like kill everyone, basically. They are basically as tough as a public dungeon boss. So they're very easy to kill, don't worry. So now we just talk to this guy. Yeah, I've managed to do that without doing the secondary objective there. Sorry, I managed to do it with the secondary objectives. Yeah. Sometimes you don't have to like do anything, especially with this like stage 4 Vampirism sprint build. It's really good. So yeah, there you go. We got some Thieves Guild XP. We get some Thief Statue. But everything in here is not that relevant, I think. Thieves Guild motifs are usually pretty cheap. And then you just get a couple items that you just sell to guilds, like sell to vendors, and that's it. An Ice Stuff of Barajas might be nice. I've heard this set is good, like it's very niche set for PvP, but and like some very specific items can be expensive, but the odds of it being worth anything is quite low from what I've found. So don't do Heist for anything other than just to do the 15 fields quickly. That's why I say just fucking rush through. Because also that, yes, if you get the secondary objective done, you get extra XP for the Thieves Guild, but honestly, don't use this skill line. I find it to be just so low value. It's different for Dark Brotherhood. This skill line I think is really good for one reason. But yeah, my personal biased opinion, this whole skill line is just fucking worthless. Except for this for other endeavors, but that's kind of it. Alright, so that's everything for the daily set today. If you have any questions, you know the drill. Just give me a holler. Alright. It's good to be back. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. Take care for now. I'll see you next time.